What up, Homedawgs? My name is Gokey Gamer, coach of the Milwaukee Medichams, and welcome everybody to week 8 of the UCDL, where this week we're going to be going up against the Don Fanatic, coach of the Norwich Skates. Here are the teams. Whoop! So this is a very, very scary team. Basically, the goal of this is for my two flyers to pop the frick off, because both of them actually have a really, really solid matchup here. I'm bringing Water Absorb Polytoad purposefully this time for the Greninja. So if you see me not like have the Water Absorb, then that's the reason. But anyways, let's go. We see Metagross, Iron Hands, the Dunsparce, Greninja, Pheasantipity, and Sinistcha. No Garchomp is perfect for me, so I can just straight up lead with I Am the Bus, and that is my fullest of intentions to do, because holy crap, the Choice Specs Volt Switch spam is insane here, so I'm just gonna do that. That is phenomenal. I was worried about Garchomp showing up. I do kind of wish I had the Leech Seed over Rapid Spin on Brambleghast now, but it do be like that sometimes. No Cryogonal, no Araquanid, both are also very, very nice for me as well, so I will gladly take this exchange. This is gonna be a very interesting game. I'm very scared, but I think we got a good squad. I think we got a really good squad. Alrighty, baby, good luck, have fun, let's freaking do this, baby! We're going to go ahead and see for the lead. My guess is possibly Assault Vest something. Plot Twist is going to be the Dunsparce. So the Dunsparce is going to come out. I do wonder if this is like an Assault Vest or something like that. The Dunsparce, let's see here. We're going to like do a crap ton of damage to this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and fire off a Volt Switch. That is just the freest button click I can make. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go. Okay, that's not Assault Vest. That's good. That does half. So Discharge will kill next time it comes in if they don't roost. So that's pretty cool. I'm very tempted to actually go into Tumbler here. I think Tumbler could be pretty solid. There is no hazard removal here. I could see a Boom Burst popping off. I could also see like a Flamethrower maybe or something like that. They did opt to stay in, which scares me a bit. I could also go to Trans Rights pretty freely. Trans Rights here is very solid. I think that's just a solid switch. So I think that might be what I end up doing here. I'll go ahead and go to Sylveon. I don't need Sylveon as much in this game, so I'm okay with this. And there's also Pheasantipity and a Metagross, so I think Sylveon here is going to be the check. We're going to see a Calm Mind. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I do have a Corviknight in the back that can just do some really fun stuff. I'm immediately going to go ahead and click Yawn here. I want to put this thing to sleep. So they can go for a Calm Mind again. There's a good chance that they do, but I am okay with that if they do. They'll probably switch out here. So, well, they'll probably switch out after this next turn, I should say. They're probably going to just go for an attack here. Let's see if they have like Gunk Shot or something like that. They do just have Roost. So they have Calm Mind and Roost. That's really good to know. They probably have Flamethrower if I had to guess. That would be, I feel like that's a safe assumption for me to make. I really want to go into Tumbler here. I think Tumbler, let's see, Metagross is probably going to be the check. So I could also go into Polytoad. I think what I might end up doing, I definitely don't want to go into Kilowattrel yet. I think I'm going to go into Tumbler actually. I think going Tumbler here is pretty safe just because of the fact that like Metagross is a scary Pokemon for sure. Do they stay in? I don't think they stay in, but that'd be crazy. Yeah, no, they do switch out. Okay, so we're probably gonna see the Metagross switch in if I had to guess. Let's see, Skippity, so that's Fez actually, so Pheasantipity comes in. So here's a very interesting situation. The main thing that I really want this for is to set up hazards. We're immune to Heat Wave. We could see like a U-turn or something like that. I think I'm gonna try to set up a Spike. I'm gonna try to set up a Spike here because the sooner we set up hazards, the better. I think the better for like the entire team. So the Dunsparce is very scary, so I do have to keep that in mind. We know Calm Mind, we know Roost now, so that's great. The nice thing is the Dunsparce is not a check for the Kilowattrel because of the fact that I can just purely, I can literally just lock into Discharge into 2 shots. So Pheasantipity is definitely a threat. We're going to see a U-turn here, that's fine. I'm okay with that. That's a crit, that's a bit unfortunate, but at least we didn't get poisoned, so that's good. We're going to see that they swap out, so it's probably Toxic Chain if I had to guess, not a Technician set of some kind. Let's see, probably the Dunsparce. Bird Up, that's going to be the Iron Hands. Interesting, because this is my check for Iron Hands. So that makes me scared that this might be Clear Amulet. I'm a bit terrified of that. I'm gonna go ahead. I think I'm gonna swap. Do I swap into Slugger? I think I might. Yeah, I'm gonna swap into Slugger here. Let's do that. I do have speed investment on this thing, just so that way I can outspeed no speed investment Iron Hands. So that's pretty cool. So hopefully we see a Swords Dance here. That'd be pretty ideal. We're gonna go into Gastrodon. Let's see what they do. We just see a Drain Punch actually. So that's gonna do a decent chunk of damage, but it will weaken them down. Yeah, because Rocky Helmets. So I think here what I might do, I might just go for a recover. I'm going to, yeah, I'll go for a recover here just so that way I can keep my HP up as much as possible. If they go for like a CC or something like that, then that's fine. Also, we'll reveal that we do outspeed this thing if they do try to go for an attack. So that's really, really valuable to have as well. Now, we see that, okay, they do have speed investment then. They do have some speed investment, which is a little bit scary. They do have some speed investment. Very interesting. Okay, I was not expecting that. So we saw Drain Punch. Okay, that is very interesting. Let's see, Iron Hands. So they definitely do have at least a decent amount of speed investment, actually. Yeah, they at least have like 20 speed. So I think what I'm going to do here, I might Earthquake. I think I'll recover one more time. All right, we see the swaps, so that's fine. Let's see what switches in here. It's probably going to be the Sinistra, Starbies. I believe that's probably Sinistra. Yes, that is going to be Sinistra. So, and your heavy-duty boots. Very interesting. So, Sinistra's heavy-duty booties. Very intriguing to me. I'm going to go back into Sylveon here. Sylveon is a very, very safe play. I'm scared about setup, basically. I'm really scared about, like, setup potential. So, I'm going to go back into Sylveon. Let's see what type of set this is. So, it's heavy-duty boots. What is it heavy-duty boots for? Just hazards? That's very interesting if that's the case. We're going to see a Shadow Ball here. Bada bing, bada boom. So, that'll do it like a tiniest chunk of damage. That's fine. We're going to reveal the lefties. We're going to go ahead and go for another Yawn. If they want to try to go for more damage, they can. So I'm just going to click Yawn. I'm literally just going to click Yawn here for free because, yeah, they're going to go ahead and swap. Something's going to get put to sleep here if they do opt to stay in. We're going to see Metagrossy. That's going to be the Metagross, obviously. So Metagross is the check. They do take damage from spikes, so that is fine by me. We're going to go for a Yawn. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, this is very interesting. All right, we recover our HP, which is great. Beautimus. I'm going to go ahead and swap out Sylveon, obviously. I think I'm actually going to go back into Tumbler because, let's see, the last time to check for this was Pheasantipity. Check was Pheasantipity, so I think I could go into Slugger here, actually, on a Pheasantipity, but I don't think I do that. I do want to keep Driver up as much as possible at full HP. So I think what I'm going to do, I think I am just going to try to start weakening things down with my Mon. So you're going to see the swap. Let's see if Pheasantipity is the switch this time. It is going to be the Pheasantipity. So Pheasantipity is going to come back in. I'm going to switch back into Bramblegast here. Again, very interesting that the last time the check was Iron for the Bramblegast was Iron Hands. I don't know if they're going to do that again this time, but I'm kind of okay with it if they do. I'm going to send them their Layer of Spikes. So we're going to see that they taunt. Okay, well played. Well played. Well played indeed. So they go for a taunt. That's fine. We can't use spikes, so that's good to know. So they have U-turn and that. I could go into Driver now on a U-turn. That's a pretty safe play for me to make. I can also just straight up go into Kilo. I can go into Kilo here if I really want to. I can go for a Rapid Spin just to see what type of attack they go for. I don't think I do that though. If I go into this, that brings in probably the Iron Hands, but the Iron Hands probably outspeeds me. I can go into the Bus, but I don't want to get Toxic. I'm going to go into Corviknight here. They can go for a Heat Wave, but if they do, they risk Wind Rider, and also, like, it's not going to do anything to Corviknight anyways, so that's fine. I'm okay with this. We're going to go into Corviknight here, bada bing, bada boom. We're going to see a Play Rough. So this is physical, so that's very good information to have. So I think here, I'm very curious to see what the check is for this. I might just go for a Brave Bird. I'm very tempted to just go for Brave Bird here because I think no matter what, it's going to chunk something. So I think I'm going to go for a Brave Bird. I like the fact that this is, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm not going for an attack here, or I'm not going for like a status move here. I'm just clicking Brave Bird. Brave Bird, bada bing, bada boom. Beautiful. We're going to do a decent chunk of damage to this. Are you Rocky Helmets is the question. You are not Rocky Helmets, so that's good. I think I'm just going to click it again. Yeah, I like just clicking it again here. We're going to see a U-turn. Okay, so this always like checks Pheasantipity, which is really, really solid. Although the taunt is a bit scary, so I need to be careful. We're probably going to see Metagross switch back in here if I had to guess. I think that's a very safe play. We're going to see Metagrossy, so that makes sense. I'm okay with this. You're taking more and more chip, which is really awesome. I'm a big fan of that. We're going to go for a Brave Bird here. Bada bing, bada boom. Small chunk of damage, but at least it does something. That's really solid for me. I will go ahead and swap out here. I think I might end up going the Gastrodon here. Gastrodon versus Metagross. If it's fully offensive, it's a two-shot. I'm very tempted to make that play. because, yeah, I'm very tempted to go into that. I could also go into, like, my Politoed. I could go into Politoed to click Earth Power, but that's kind of meh. Gastrodon's a lot worse now that the Iron Hands outspeeds, so that's a bit unfortunate. I'm tempted to go into Bramblegast here, but I think that might be a bit of a throw. So I think what I'm going to do here is I will go back into Gastrodon. I'm going to go into Gastrodon here. We're going to go ahead and swap out. Let's see what they want to do here. I believe this thing gets Grass Knot. I believe this thing gets Grass Moves, so that's a bit unfortunate, but let's see what they go for. We're just going to see a Heavy Slam. Okay, best case scenario. So that does a small chunk of damage. Let me actually look and see. Let's see, 293. That feels like a lot of damage from a Metagross. Okay, it's not banded, that's for sure. It's definitely not banded, and I don't think they would have locked themselves into that if they were banded, but it does seem to be adamant. It does very much seem to be adamant here, so that's good to know. I could go for an EQ for free. EQ is really solid, but that brings in Sinistcha. I'm gonna go for a Recover here. We're gonna see Trailblaze. They do have Trailblaze. Okay. That's fine. Okay, thank goodness that we went for this. Let's go. Rocky Helmet Ship. Alright, I think you are going to be in range of a thing now. I think you have to go for... Okay, yeah. Shadow Sneak, you're... it's gonna be iffy. It's a bit iffy. But you're probably gonna go for Trailblaze again, if I had to guess. Yeah, that Trailblaze, the second Trailblaze is the most likely play here. Do I want to save Gastrodon? I don't need to. I don't need to save Gastrodon here. I don't need to. That's the thing. Okay, so Iron Hands is a lot scarier. Yes, that is true. Iron Hands is a lot scarier, but I have other checks for it. I don't need to keep this Gastrodon alive because it's already weakened down this. I think they're going to go for another Trailblaze, but just in case they're not in range, I'm going to go for a Recover. I think I'm going to go for a Recover here. We're going to see another Trailblaze. This should kill. It doesn't. Oh my god, Gastrodon is actually insane. Holy. So, Gastrodon lives. That's nuts, actually. That's actually crazy. We're gonna go for another Recover. I think you have to go for another Trailblaze, and you're definitely now in range to die to a thing. So I'm going to swap it to Tumbler now, and then I'm going to just go for a Shadow Sneak. Yeah, that's my play. That's my play every single time. If you go for an attack, that's fine. It's not ideal, but I think you're going for Trailblaze here. Yeah, you're going for Trailblaze. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. Easy. Alright, so Metagross, a big threat for us. Also, sorry, I hit the thing. Big threat for us, out of the way. Let's go. We could tank a Bullet Punch here, but if we do, that's fine. That is absolutely fine if we tank a Bullet Punch here, because Shadow Sneak should pick up the kill here. We're gonna see that they swapped, so very interesting. Let's see if it's the Fez that comes in. It's gonna be Plot Twist, actually, so it's gonna be this thing. That is fine. Do I go for another layer of spikes to guarantee that Metagross can't come back in? That is the question now. I think I want to. I'm gonna go for one more layer of spikes, so that way the thing can't come in for free. Alright, perfect. We're gonna go with that. I'm curious to see what they want to do here. Let's see. They're probably going for a Calm Mind if I had to guess. Yep, we're gonna see a Calm Mind. Okay. So the nice thing about the Sylveon is like fully bulky. The Dunsparce, like, don't get me wrong, a Boom Burst is going to hurt, but it should never kill. So, like, and it should never even two-shot at this point, I don't think. So this is fine. I'm very okay with that. But yeah, Metagross is essentially a dead man, which is really awesome. So we're gonna switch into this. We're gonna see a Flamethrower. So they do have Flamethrower. That's good information to have. We just tanked that. Insanely tanked that, which is awesome. We have 2 layers of spikes up. We're looking good so far. We're looking really, really good. I go for a Yawn. We're gonna go for a Yawn. They're probably going to go for a Boom Burst here if I had to guess. And I'm going to go for a Wish on the switch. We do see a Boom Burst, so we now know the full moveset at this point. Now the question becomes, I think they're going to swap and sack off Metagross. I think they're going to be their play, because I don't think they want this falling asleep. I'm going to go for a Wish here. That is what I'm going to do. Yep, we see the swap. Let's see the Metagross switch in, is my assumption anyways. We are going to go ahead and see, it's the Fez. So the Fez actually switches in again, which is interesting to me. Also Boots. Okay, so Pheasantipity and Sinistcha are both Boots. That's very important information to have. That tells me this is probably, let's see, it has Taunt, U-Turn, Play Rough, and Roost. I'm willing to bet that that's the moveset. I'm going to go ahead and go for a Protect here, just to see if you have Roost, and see what you want to go for here. If you don't have Roost, then this is much less of a threat. But, let's see, you do have Roost. Okay. So you do have Roost, that's fine. I am okay with that. I am okay with that. So you have Taunt, very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Okay. I think I'm just going to go into Driver. I think Driver makes the most sense here. I don't think Driver can win this game anymore, but I do still think Kilo Wattrel has a pretty solid chance of doing stuff here. So I'm going to go into this. Bada bing, bada boom. We're going to see a U-turn. That's fine. So something's going to take a little bit of chip here. I'm curious to see. It's probably not going to be the Metagross. I don't think they're going to sack off the Metagross here. I could see an Iron Hand switch. I could see it's not going to be Sinistcha. I could maybe see the Dunsparce. I don't think the Dunsparce comes in here, though, because I do have Body Press. So it's going to be Bird Up. That's actually going to be the Iron Hand. So Iron Hands is going to be the check. So that makes a lot of sense. I'm going to go ahead and swap into Gastrodon. This is the thing that's supposed to check this. Like, yeah, this is the one that checks this, basically. So that's really, really good. We're gonna go into Slugger. Bada bing, bada boom. Love to see it, baby. We're gonna see a Thunder Punch. So they were predicting me, it looks like, to stay in. They were predicting me to, like, stay in on the off chance that I outsped. But unfortunately for them, I know that I don't outspeed. I know they have speed investment because I have speed investment on my Gastrodon. So I know that you outspeed me. So that's good to know. So they've sped crept Corviknight. I'm very tempted to go for an Earthquake here just to deal a big hit, and I think I will. I will go for an Earthquake play here. We're gonna go ahead and see the swap, actually. Let's see if Sinistcha is the check. It probably is. We're gonna see Starbies. That's gonna be the Sinistcha. It's gonna be Heavy Duty Boots Sinistcha, which is good to know. We're gonna go for an Earthquake. Bada bing, bada boom. Beautiful. Does absolutely nothing. Love to see that. I think here I will go into Corviknight now. I think Corviknight here makes a lot of sense because of the fact that this is something I should be able to recover on. We're gonna see the double, actually. So they do double. Let's see what the check is now. We're gonna see Fez. So Fez is the check now. Interesting. I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna make this play. Now I know for the fact now, though, that you, like, if you go for a taunt, that's fine. You don't know that I don't have a steal move, basically. I'm going to go for a Roost. I'm going to go for a Roost on the off chance. You do go for a taunt, that's fine. I'm okay with that. So Corviknight is going to get taunted. That's fine. I think here what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for a Body Press. I like going for a Body Press here because there's no way you stay in on this. They don't know that I don't have Bulk Up. We do see a Play Rough, so they do opt to go for a Play Rough. So now it seems like they might be using this to check Corviknight. So that's good to know. Let's try again. Let's see if they go for a U-turn this time. They are just doing Play Rough. Okay. So now Corviknight is not going to be a check for this. So it's going to be harder for Corviknight to actually pop off here. This is a really, really good set. I think here, I think they have to go for a taunt here. That is my assumption. I'm going to go into Slugger now. I'm going to go into Slugger. Slugger makes a lot of sense. So I'm very happy with this play. Let's see what they opt to go for. They're probably going to go for a taunt if I had to guess. Let's see it. We're going to see a taunt. Yep, that makes sense. Okay, so Gastrodon gets taunted. I think here I'm going to go for a Stone Edge. I really like that play a lot. So I'm going to click that button because I think they're going to U-turn into the Sinistcha. We do see that they go for a U-turn. They do take damage from Rocky Helmet, which is great. I really wish I was Rocky Helmet on Corviknight now. I thought about it, but I decided against it. We're going to go ahead and see most likely the Sinistcha switch back in. That's also Heavy Duty Boots, which is really good to know. Oh, it's going to be Metagross. So Metagross is going to be this check. So they're going to die here. Yep, Metagross dies. Beautiful. So they let their sack go. That is wonderful for me. I am okay with this. All right, so we revealed the Stone Edge. We had that for the Moltres just in case, but it also helps against the Sinistcha now as well. So we could see a Dunsparce play here. The Dunsparce could be interesting. I might Leer Smog on the Dunsparce just to reveal the tech and also reveal that we have it. But, this is very curious. We're gonna see Hopper. That sounds like Gren. So if Gren is the check here, I'm immediately going to go into my Politoed because that is why Politoed is here. Politoed is here specifically for this Gren. And we're going to reveal that we're Water Absorb as well. My guess is you're probably going for a Trailblaze, so you probably have 2 Trailblaze users, which is a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. We're gonna see Grass Knot, actually. That's fine. We tank that. Also, that reveals that your Battle Bond. That's really good information to have. And your Life Orb. Okay, so we reveal all of that. That's good to know. I'm very tempted to click Whirlpool here, actually. I don't know what the check for this would be. It probably would be... It wouldn't... I don't know if it would be Iron Hands. If it is Iron Hands, this is going to do a crap ton of damage to this. I'm going to risk it and go for an Earth Power on the possible Iron Hands check. I don't think it's going to be Iron Hands, but we revealed now that we're not letting you do... Oh my gosh, it is going to be the Iron Hands. So Iron Hands is going to come in. You're going to take a lot from this Earth Power, and it's going to do a lot of really solid damage here. Bada bing, bada boom. Beautiful. Beautiful work. So I keep switching into Gastrodon, so I think here... Oh, okay, you're Citrus Berry. Okay, you're Citrus Berry. That makes sense. Okay, Citrus Berry is fine. I think you're going to predict the Gastrodon switch, so I'm going to go in... This time I'm going to go into my Bramblegast here. And I think I'm going to try to set the last layer of spikes. All right, so this also reveals that you're not clear amulet, so we can go for a strength sap against you. Yep, we see a drain punch here. That's fine. We have the Yachi Berry. I'm going to go ahead and set up my final layer of spikes here. I think that's extremely valuable. We're going to go ahead and set layer spikes. Let's see if you have Ice Punch. You probably do, if I had to guess. So let's go ahead and see that Ice Punch play right here, right now. Yep, you do have Ice Punch. I have the Yachi Berry specifically for that. This shouldn't kill. Yeah, easy, easy, easy play. Easy play. Beautiful. I think here I Strength Sap. I'm going to Strength Sap at least once just to get that HP recovery. This also reveals that we're like max bulk. So already things are going really well. Things are going really, really well for us. It's not great because we don't have a lot of ways to easily break, but things are going okay, basically. Things are going okay. We're going to recover the HP. There we go. Beautiful. Bottoming. We're going to see another Ice Punch here. That's fine. Easy. We tank that easy. I'm just going to keep clicking Strength Sap. This is what this is here for. Yeah, like literally, I am here to check this Pokemon. So, yeah, this is great. We're gonna keep recovering HP. I really wish I had Leech Seed now, but it is what it is. Yeah, we keep taking damage, so I don't know if they're just going for chip damage. I think they might swap here, and if they do, that's fine. Because I think here, Gastrodon versus an Iron Hands. I think Gastrodon can come in on this for free. I'm gonna send in Gastrodon. I guess I do have Kilowattrel. I do have Kilowattrel in the back. If I can get Kilowattrel in, I can like do some crazy work. I can do some really crazy work with Kilowattrel here. We're gonna go into Slugger. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's try to chip this thing down with some Rocky Helmet stuff. Let's see. They do opt to switch, so they do save this thing. Let's see if they go into the Sinistcha. They're going to go into Fez. So this is kind of what I was expecting. I was expecting this play. I think here what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go for an Earthquake. I'm hoping that they go for a Taunt. If they go for a Taunt, that is perfect for me. We're going to see the swap, so they're going to go back into probably Sinistcha. Starbees, that's going to be the Sinistcha. That's fine by me. So we're going to keep dealing a little bit of chip damage at a time. That's fine. I do want to save this Pokemon, though. I do still think Gastrodon here is valuable, specifically for the Pheasantipity. This is the freest Transrite switch I've ever seen in my life. I'm going to go ahead and do that. They're going to keep swapping out. The nice thing is this is really hard for them to keep doing. They're going to go back into Fez. So they go back into Pheasantipity. These are the only two Pokemon that they can really do this against, which is the interesting part. So I'm going to go into Transrites. Let's see. They're probably going to go for a U-turn again, if I had to guess. I could Protect here just to see what they do. I think here what I might do, I'm going to go back into Slugger, though. I do like going back into Slugger here. I think this is a good play. We're going to go back into Slugger. I guess I'm risking a Toxic Chain proc, but I think a Taunt is what's going to come off here. Yep, it is going to be a Taunt. That's fine. I'm okay with that. So now what I think I might do, actually, I might go ahead and swap back into Corviknight, because what's the check for Corviknight here? Sinistcha can't check Corviknight. Iron Hands is in trouble. I'm going to go into Corviknight here. We're going to see the swap. Greninja also has a very hard time winning this game, which is extremely valuable. We're gonna see this. This is the most ideal situation possible. This is extremely ideal. All right, so I'm gonna go double this time into Corviknight. They were probably predicting maybe for me to stay in this time, but I'm going to go into Corviknight, and I'm immediately going to go for a Roost. Every single time here, I go for a Roost. I don't think this thing has anything that it can touch me with, so that's very valuable. I think that this is gonna be interesting. There's definitely still some issues. There's definitely still some major threats that we have to deal with. We're gonna go for a Roost, so I'm curious to see, do they go for a Shadow Ball here? They probably do. Yes, okay, we're gonna see a Shadow Ball. This shouldn't deal a lot of damage. It'll do some. Yeah, it'll deal some. That's fine. I think now I go for a Brave Bird. Is there a reason I don't Brave Bird here? I don't think so, because it's gonna do damage against everything. So I'm gonna go for a Brave Bird this time. They might let Iron Hands go down. I think letting Iron Hands go down here makes a lot of sense, so I think that is a very likely play. They are gonna save this Sinistcha, which makes a lot of sense. We're gonna go ahead and see Bird Up, so that is going to be the Iron Hands. We're gonna deal a lot of damage to this Iron Hands. We're gonna see the combination of that as well as this Brave Bird. I don't think it'll kill because Iron Hands is a beast. Oh my gosh, it does. Let's go. Corviknight gets a kill. Iron Hands goes down. Very massive. Let's go. Only a little bit of recoil damage as well. That's absolutely fine. So we're not out of the woods yet. Far from it. We are far from out of the woods, but this is a very good situation for us. We're gonna see this come in. Gets hurt by the spikes, which is great. I'm just gonna switch into Transrites now at this point. I think that's just a very free button click for me. That's just what I'm going to do here. We're gonna go into Transrites. Bada bing, bada boom. Love to see it. Let's go. All right, we see a Roost. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm going to go for a Yawn, and if we see the Pheasantipity switch in, I'm going to go for a Protect. I'm going to Yawn. No, actually, I don't do that. I don't do that. The reason I don't do that is because of Sleep Claws, because if they do opt to try and do that with this, yeah, no, I don't do that here. We're gonna see Skippity Riz, although putting Fez to sleep would be pretty sick. I won't lie. We're gonna see that they get drowsy. They know I have Protect. They do know that I have Protect. This is where things get very interesting. Do I lose? Okay, here's the question. Do I lose to the Dunsparce if it sets up for free? Kind of. I'm going to go ahead and swap. The question is, do I swap into this? Do I swap into Slugger here? Or do I swap into Corv? I think I'm going to actually swap into Slugger. I'm going to swap into Slugger here, so that way... Oh, no, we're just going to see the hard check. Okay, so they do fear the Protect. So let's see what comes in here. It's going to be Plot Twist of the Dunsparce coming back in. That's fine. So we've seen Boom Burst, we've seen Flamethrower. Okay, how do I handle this then? We're gonna go back into Slugger, the Gastrodon. We do have Clear Smog. But I think here what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and just double back into Sylveon. This is a very interesting, like, back and forth game. The nice thing is we have 3 layers of spikes. The Greninja can't win as long as Politoed stays healthy in the back. So that is fine. We're going to see a Calm Mind here. That's going to do diddly squat for me. I'm just going to go for Yawn again. Like, you can do a little bit of chip damage with Boom Burst, but that's fine. I'm going to go for a Yawn. Every single time here, I go for a Yawn. Bada bing, bada boom. If this thing gets put to sleep, that's phenomenal, basically. We're going to see a Boom Burst. That's fine. Yep, that does a small chunk of damage to me. But again, if this goes to bed, that's absolutely amazing for me. So I'm going to go for a Wish. Wish, bada bing, bada boom. We're going to go ahead and see that they do swap out here. That makes sense. Probably in the Pheasantipity, if I had to guess. No, it's actually going to be this. That's fine. I'm okay with this coming in here. That is very fine by me. So we're going to go for a Wish. We can tank whatever this thing wants to throw at me. I think here I'm just going to go for a Hyper Voice. I don't foresee a situation where I lose too much by doing that, by going a bit on the offensive. So I'm going to go for a Hyper Voice now. We're going to see a Shadow Ball. That's fine. That's going to do a minuscule amount of damage here. Bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, easy. Easy peasy. The Spadef drop is unfortunate here, but we're going to go for a Hyper Voice and do a lot of damage to this. Beautiful. B-E-A beautiful. So that's really awesome. I think here we might see another Shadow Ball. A second Shadow Ball does make a lot of sense. I'm going to go into Corviknight here. I really wish I was competitive now on Kilowattrel. Honestly, do I think you make a swap here? Do I think you recover HP? Do I think you make a swap? I'm going to go into Corviknight. Not Corviknight, the Kilowattrel. I don't think you're going to go for another Shadow Ball. I don't think you do that here. If you do that, well played, but honestly, that's fine. We're going to go into Kilowattrel. Let's go. We're going to see Strength Sap. Okay. So unfortunately, we're not competitive. I really wish we were in this exact situation, but it is what it is. We're not competitive. We're gonna see that they restore HP. That's fine. Okay. Hurricane does do a lot to Pheasantipity, and I'm very tempted to go for it. I'm going to go for it. We're gonna see a Hurricane, so Sinistcha is just straight up dead. So that's pretty awesome. Love to see that. Beautiful. Great job, Kilo. That is a dead Sinistcha. That's phenomenal for Gastrodon. We're gonna see Skippity Riz. That's gonna be the Fez. That makes sense. So Pheasantipity is gonna be the chick. I'm gonna go ahead and swap out here. I mean, you have to either go for a Roost or a U-turn here. You have to go for a Roost or U-turn. I'm going to Corviknight. Also, the nice thing is Corviknight's not near as needed at this point. Corviknight is not as nearly as much of as a savable Pokemon here. Where's your Roost? That's fine. So, yeah, that's fine. So now I have to decide whether they're going to go for a U-turn or a Taunt. I might go for a Bulk Up here on a U-turn. You know what? I don't think they go for U-turn, and if they do, it's not going to do that much damage. I'm going to go into Kilowattrel here. We're going to swap out this Pokemon, go into Kilowattrel. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's go. Love to see it. I am the bus. Kilowattrel's coming back in. Let's see the Taunt. Yep, we see the Taunt. Perfect. All right, so that's fine by me. I'm going to go for a Volt Switch now, because that is the freest button click I can make here. That'll also tell me some intel on this set. We're going to go for a Volt Switch. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so yeah, so unfortunately, we can't really win until this thing is weakened down. My guess is a U-turn is probably going to pop off here. I'm deciding now if I should go into Gastrodon or if I should go into Corviknight. I really want to save Gastrodon to try to catch a Taunt play. I think I'm going to go into Driver. I think that's my best play, is going into Driver here. So I'm going to go into I Am Driver. Bada bing, bada boom. Love to see it. We're going to see a Play Run. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Now, here's the thing. I can go ahead and nuke this with a Brave Bird, and I'm very tempted to do that. I think I will do that here, purely based off the fact that it's going to do a lot of damage, and it's just going to help. Yeah, we're going to see a Taunt. That's fine. I am very okay with this. We're gonna go for a Brave Bird. Bada bing, bada boom. Beautiful. Badooshkis! A lot of damage. Love to see that. You're basically forced to roost. That is the thing. You're forced to roost. I'm going to go into Gastrodon. I'm going to go into Gastrodon. I'm going to click EQ. I don't think you're going to want to tank this EQ from a Gastrodon because Gastrodon surprisingly hits like a truck. So I think this is a good play for me to make. I two-shot this. I two-shot this with this play, basically. So if you go for a Taunt, that's fine. We basically get a free hit off. I'm going to go for an Earthquake. I'm very curious to see if they go for like a U-turn or something like that. Or even if they go for a Taunt. If they go for Taunt, that's best case scenario. Perfect. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, where you see the Taunt, this is exactly what I was hoping for. This Earthquake is going to hit like a truck. Boom. Beautiful. Beautiful work. Earthquake again. I do not care. Yep, we're gonna see the swap. That makes sense. You have to do that here. We're gonna see probably the Dunsparce. We're gonna see plot twist. Yep, that is going to be the plot twist. Bada bing, bada boom. You're gonna take a lot of damage from hazards, which is awesome. Love to see that. We're gonna see an earthquake is gonna pop off. This shouldn't do too much damage. Yeah, so they're gonna go for a roost here, I imagine. But that is fine. That is very okay with me. Because at this point, I can go for a hyper voice. I can go for a yawn. I can even go to kill a Wattrel here if I really wanted to. This is a very good situation. Basically, we're stalling out everything on my opponent's team, which is, I apologize that this is such a long game. I'm so sorry, but we might end up speeding through some of this a little bit. I'll figure that out when we get into post. This is going to be a very rough to edit, but it's fine. We're going to go for a yawn here every single time because we can and we want to. Yep, we go for a yawn. You're probably going to go for some chip damage if you're able to make it. We're going to see Boom Burst. That's fine. All right, we're going to recover some HP with our lefties. At this point, I can kind of low-key just spam yawn. The Pheasantipity switching in could be a bit of an issue, but that's fine, I think. I think I'd rather try to catch the Fez on a switch. Yep, we're going to see the swap. That makes sense. So last time they did go for a Protect on this. Am I okay with Pheasantipity getting put to sleep this time? I don't think so. I don't think I'm okay with that here. I think what I'm going to do, I think they're going to hard swap. I think that makes the most sense. I'm going to go for a hyper voice to catch the Dunsparce. That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hyper voice here this turn because I think you have to swap. Yes, you do have to swap. You're going into the whatchamacallit. We are not switching out. We're going to see the Dunsparce switch back in. That's fine by me. This is a really good situation for me. We're going to see that they're hurt by the spikes. We're going to go for a hyper voice. We're going to do a lot of damage. Beautiful. I go for it again. Every single time I go for it again. This is a very, very, very good situation for me. The Pheasantipity could be a bit of an issue, but that's fine. We're gonna go for a hyper voice here because we can and we want to, baby. Yeah. Hyper voice, bada bing, bada boom. The Dunsparce goes down. All right. So it looks like we're not gonna have to skip forward because we are making progress. Love to see it. Recover even more from leftovers. The Greninja could be an issue, but I'm okay with that if it switches in here. We know it's Battle Bond at this point, so that is fine by me. We're gonna see Skippity Riz. That is going to be this Fez, so that's fine. I think you have to go for a roost here. I don't need this anymore. I'm going to go for a yawn. We're going to see a play rough, so they do just have to go for an attack. Okay, that's fine. Toxic Chain is fine. That's okay. I'm okay with this getting poisoned at this point because we don't need it as a check anymore. Bada bing, bada boom. We go for a yawn. Beautiful. All right. So now at this point, we either see them go for an attack or we just go into our key. Well, okay, here's what's the best situation for me right now. I need to make sure I'm not put in a situation where Greninja can win. That's what I need to do right now. At this current moment in time, I need to put myself in a position where Greninja cannot win. We know it's not Scarf at this point. This thing could be put to sleep. I'm gonna go in to kill a Wattrel. Although, okay, so Greninja versus a whatchamacallit. Kill a Wattrel. Water Shuriken does half. So as long as I don't take half here on this possible incoming hit, we should be fine. All right, we could see a U-turn as well. U-turn makes a lot of sense, but if we do, then I think we win. Roost, that's fine. This thing is going to get put to sleep. We're going to just spam discharge and win the game. Yep, we see this thing gets put to sleep. Love to see it. Or I can even go for a Volt Switch, and I think that's very valuable here. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to go for a Volt Switch. I'm going to Volt Switch into Gastrodon. Volt Switch, bada bing, bada boom. Beautiful, beautiful damage. Love to see that. And now I'm going to go back into Gastrodon. Gastrodon is going to be a check. Love to see it. Let's go Slugger, baby. All right, we're gonna see that they're fast asleep. That's fine by me. I go for an Earthquake every single time. Earthquake, beautiful. It's either going to nuke this and probably kill it, or the Greninja is going to come in and it's going to die. So regardless, we're in a very good situation. We go for an Earthquake here. Bada bing, bada boom. Pheasantipity drops. So now it's up to Greninja to win the game. How do I prevent Greninja from winning the game? All right, so Hopper's going to come in. So that's going to be Gren. Okay, now I have some form of priority and stuff like that. Gunshot does 21 to 26%. I'm going to Politoed. Politoed, I think, should be able to just win the game. Let's go into I Am Perish. Let's go. The Assault Vest is specifically for this. We're gonna see a Gunshot. So they do have Gunshot. That's fine. Does a small chunk of damage, but that's okay. We do get poisoned. Unfortunate. But we do see the Life Orb chip. So here I'm just gonna go for Nerf Power. It does the most damage. I don't think I'm in range to die to a hit. I should not be in range of dying to any one hit that they want to go for. I'm going to go for Earth Power. We're gonna see a Gunshot. They do land their Gunshot again. We live because we're the GOAT. And maybe Politoed can pick up this kill? I doubt it though. Boom. Oh my gosh. Critical hit. The critical hit might have mattered actually. Let's go. GG's on such a crazy, phenomenal game. Really well played to Don Fanatic. I cannot believe that went that well. I'm going to be so for real. I cannot believe that went that well. I was so terrified. There was a really, cannot overstate this enough, really well played by my opponent. Absolutely insane. I think I just did really well with my prep. I think that's just literally how I won. I think I just did well with my prep. I played well in the moment as well, talking about like my checks for everything and stuff like that. Bringing Yawn was absolutely massive. Even though Rapid Spin on Bramble Gas didn't come into play, I think it was still a good bring, just because of the fact that it scared out possible hazards, and also like Leech Seed wouldn't have been very useful anyways. Like it could have been useful against the Iron Hands, but I think the spikes were really what saved me here. The really good thing is this should guarantee us a slot in playoffs at this point. We're currently 5-3, so that's really good going into the last week where I'm going up against none other than the one and only Ellie, coach of the Shanghai Dragons. So that's terrifying, but you know what? We're gonna make it work. Regardless, I think that's gonna go ahead and do it for this video. GG's once again to my opponent. Please be sure to check them out down in the description below. And thank you all so sincerely much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment your favorite moment of the battle below, comment your favorite Pokemon of this battle below, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Peace out, mates!